Throughout my life, developing from child to a young adult, I feel that the environment within my home life, experiences with my friends and family, and my personal struggles have helped to mold me to the person I am today. To sum up myself as an individual, I am a family-oriented girl who is very much of a homebody who has two different sides to me. One that is confident in every part of me and one who struggles in loving myself. Since I could walk, I have always been an active individual, whether I was taking gymnastics on the swim team or taking dance lessons for my hobbies. As I ultimately chose to focus on dance, it was demanding not just physically, but emotionally. Being constantly told that you were not good enough by teachers and peers, it caused me to look at myself in a negative light and affect my self-esteem. There were also expectations for dancers to be sick, thin, with long legs and a small waist, who were the ones always in front row of dances. Wanting to be the girl that was in front row, I stopped eating in 7th grade, hiding my lunch at the bottom of my backpack that I would later throw away when my parents were asleep. One night, my parents looked at my backpack and froze as they saw the sandwiches and snacks from the past week that were left untouched. My mother told me she wouldn't pull me out of dance, however, that I needed to eat, and if I didn't get to be in front row because of the way I looked, then the teachers were sending the wrong message. Transitioning from a studio where I felt neglected to GCU where my instructors encourage you to be comfortable in your own skin and your fellow dancers cheer you on, I will never consider myself a studio dancer because the culture associated with competitive dance is not who I am. I associate myself with artists who see the best in each other and dance because it is what they are passionate about, not to dance for a trophy or a social ranking to be the best. The experience that made me the person I am today the most was the day I found out my mother had breast cancer. As I watched her hair fall out and become weak, I not only did I lose my mother for a year during her treatment, but I no longer had the person I had come to when I felt lost. Struggling with social anxiety as a child, it took a lot to go up to someone and start a conversation. One day I eased my way into talking with the girls who sat next to me in class, but the conversation always led to, "How is your mom doing, and is she going to be better soon?" As the questions continued on, I could not take it any more of talking about the situation, so I went back to my ways of cutting off any communication with others. In a way, I felt a sense of embarrassment as I did not have an identity of my own, but rather the girl whose mom has cancer. Having others perceive me in this way, as I could read their body language of giving me a pat on the shoulder and a look of pity, it only caused me to break down more. Finally, a year after I was told my mom had cancer, my mom walked into my room with tears in her eyes, telling me that the doctors told her she was officially cancer-free. This experience taught me so much because while I oftentimes feel uncomfortable to be vulnerable around others, even an act like a pat on the shoulder that was nonverbal can go a long way in letting someone know that you have people that care about you. One relationship that affected me both negatively and positively was a boyfriend I had when I was very young. For 2 years, I was in a relationship with a boy who was both physically and mentally abusive as well as suicidal. Almost every day of the week, he would blame me for his unhappiness, in which I had no idea why he was unhappy, causing me to only focus on him getting better, losing the friendships I had worked so hard to get because he didn't want me to see anyone but him. When the relationship got to its worst and he texted me and threatened to kill himself if I broke up with him, my mother pulled me out of the relationship and as she saw my mental stability deteriorating as a freshman in high school. While I could not have predicted the abusive relationship, I am thankful that I went through it while I was so young because I now know my self-worth and how I should be treated, and that in order to have a good relationship, verbal communication is needed, and that over-the-phone conversations will not do any good in solving an issue. Throughout my experiences that have led me to be the person that I am, I have learned that I will always be held accountable for my actions and that if I want something, I have to make it happen because no one can do it for me. This will help me in school and my future career by creating the best version of myself, one who is confident and determined to go after anything I wish to achieve.